Hey guys, how are you? My name is Jason. I'm the Program Director here at LeTCC. Welcome to Passion Week Storytime. So we're going to be talking about the Easter story this week. So I've got here something called resurrection eggs. Do you guys know what resurrection eggs are? They're pretty cool. They are Easter eggs that you can hunt and find that actually tell the Easter story. It tells what Easter is really all about. So my kids and I are going to go through, we're going to open the eggs, and we're going to talk about what's inside each one of them. So we're going to start today with the first half of the story, and then tomorrow when you guys join us, we'll go through the second half of the story. So we're going to start. My daughter has asked to open the first one because she loves what's inside of it, but she's going to have to hold on to it. Wait a moment while I read a little bit from the Bible. I'll give her the cue of when to open it here in just a minute. So listen up, guys. If you have your Bibles, please open them to Matthew chapter 21 and join us. Read along with us. Little donkey. Jesus said to disciples, saying to them, "Go into the village in front of you, and immediately you will find a donkey tied and a colt with her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, you shall say, 'The Lord needs them,' and he will send them at once." The disciples went and did as Jesus had directed them. They brought the donkey and the colt and put on them their cloaks, and he sat on them. Most of the crowd spread their cloaks on the road, and others cut branches from trees and spread them on the road. Matthew 21, 2 through 3, and 6 through 8. All right, so let's see what's in the egg, and I bet I can guess. And I bet you guys can guess at home, too.
It's a donkey.
It is a little donkey. Fantastic. So, Jensen, do you know why there's a donkey in the egg? After what the story said. It's okay. Alyssa, do you know why there's a donkey in the egg?
Yes, because a donkey is what Jesus rode into town on whenever they did Palm Sunday, and they laid down palm branches for him to walk on because he was showing everyone that he is the Son of God.
Fantastic. Yeah, all right, so listen up. In Jesus' day, most people walked everywhere. Sometimes kings rode on donkeys or horses when they entered a city. The people would stop what they were doing and watch as the king rode by. On the day that Jesus rode into their city, the people were thrilled to see him. They believed that he was their new king who had come to save them and to fill their lives with joy. The people showed their happiness by spreading tree branches and coats on the road. This was also their way of showing honor to Jesus, much like we might have used a red carpet today. Very cool. Okay, so egg number 1, the blue egg has a little donkey. All right, egg number 2. Jensen, you want to hold that one for a minute? Don't open it yet. Okay, so this one, if you want to keep reading in Matthew chapter 26, verse 14 through 16, it says, "Then one of the 12, whose name was Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said, 'What will you give me if I deliver him over to you?' And they paid him 30 pieces of silver. And from that moment, he sought an opportunity to betray him." Okay, Jensen, let's see what's inside the pink egg. Money. Oh, man. Okay, so we have coins, silver coins. Alyssa, why are there silver coins in the egg?
Because that is what they had paid Judas to betray Jesus with. So to get Judas to do what they asked him to give them Jesus to eventually kill him, they paid him money. And it just shows how easily our flesh is manipulated into going into what the world wants us to get.
That's right, we're very greedy. Okay, listen up. So it says, not everyone was happy to have Jesus as his king. Some people only pretended to be happy, but on the inside, they really didn't want anything to do with him. One of these pretenders was a man named Judas Iscariot. Some of the other men hated Jesus so much that they wanted to kill him, but they needed the help of someone who could get close to Jesus. Because Judas Iscariot was a pretender, and because he was greedy for money, he told these men that he would help them capture Jesus if they would pay him 30 silver coins.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, they're like worth 10 apiece, huh? Okay. All right, the light purple egg is next.
All right.
Let's see what's in this one. Matthew chapter 26, verses 27 and 28. "And he took a cup, and when he had given thanks to them, saying, 'Drink of it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins.'" All right, open the purple egg. Alyssa, let's see what's inside there.
It is a silver cup.
Oh, it's a chalice. Jensen, do we know why there's a cup in the egg? No? Oh, well, it's because Jesus said to take and drink during the Last Supper. So it says, Jesus had a special dinner with his disciples, 12 of his closest friends who traveled with him and learned from him. During the meal, Jesus stood up and held out a cup and gave everyone to drink. Then he said something that was hard for them to understand. He said that the wine in the cup was his blood. He didn't mean that they would actually be drinking blood, but the wine was a symbol or a picture of his blood. He wanted them to remember the special night and the covenant or the promise he was making to them and all of the people. Do you know what a promise is, Jensen? That's okay, because you'll learn as we keep reading. As you keep listening, you'll learn what a promise is. Very cool. Okay, so far, let's recap. We have a donkey, because that's what Jesus rode into Jerusalem on. We have silver coins, because that's what Judas got when he betrayed him. We have a goblet that talks about Jesus giving his blood for us as a picture. So the wine in the goblet. All right, so the next one. Let's see what's in the next one. And they went to a place called Gethsemane. And he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." And he took with him Peter and James and John, and began to be greatly distressed and troubled. And he said to them, "My soul is very sorrowful, even to death. Remain here and watch." Mark 14:32 through 34. All right, Jensen, open the orange egg and let's see what's inside there.
Praying hands.
Praying hands, that's right. Very cool, praying hands. Alyssa, do you know why there are praying hands in the egg?
Because that's what Jesus was doing whenever he went up on, like a mountain?
Yeah, he went to Gethsemane, Mount of Olives. So he was praying, that's right. It says, after dinner and with his disciples, Jesus took them to a garden. He asked them to pray while he went to another place in the garden to talk to God alone. He began to be sad and to dread what he knew was going to happen soon. He was going to die. Jesus was willing to die, for he once said, "No one takes my life from me, but I lay it down on my own accord." That was John chapter 10, verse 18. You see, one of the remarkable things about Jesus was that like no one before or since, he was both God and man at the same time. The God part of him was willing to die because of his great love, but the human part of him did not want to experience the great pain he would surely suffer by dying on a cross. When you are afraid or sad, you should do as Jesus did, Jensen. What was that?
Pray.
That's right. We pray. Very good. Great.
Because that was mine.
That's right. Praying hands. You are absolutely correct. Okay. All right. 2 more for today, Alyssa. Don't open it yet. Hang on. All right. John chapter 19, verse 1. It says, "Then Pilate took Jesus and flogged him." Well, that doesn't sound good at all. Alyssa, what's in the egg?
It's a whip.
Oh, my goodness. It is a whip. Oh, that's no fun at all. Okay. Jensen, do you know what a whip is?
Yes, it's something that people use to hit people or horses to make them go.
That's right. So they used a whip and they flogged Jesus. I know, it's heartbreaking. Okay. When Jesus finished praying in the garden, the men who wanted to kill him took him as their prisoner. Then they brought Jesus to Pilate, their ruler, and he had Jesus whipped. The whip used was long and hard, and it hurt Jesus so much that he bled. Jesus hadn't done anything wrong. The men who wanted to kill him were afraid of losing power, so they wanted Jesus to be out of their way. They knew that if people really believed that Jesus was the Son of God, which he was, they would follow him. So we talked a minute ago about greed. Greed is not just money. Greed can also be power, and they wanted to keep their power because they were very greedy. Okay, all right, one more for the first half. Don't open it yet. One more, you ready? All right, here we go. Mark chapter 14, verse 71 and 72. That's like a really long book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. But Peter began to invoke a curse on himself and to swear, "I do not know this man of who you speak." And immediately the rooster crowed a second time. And Peter remembered how Jesus had said to him, "Before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. And he broke down and wept. He sobbed and he cried. Jensen, what's in the yellow egg? A rooster. Yep, that's right, a rooster. There we go. So, do we know why the rooster was in the egg, Alyssa?
Because that's what Jesus had said was going to crow 3 times after Peter had denied him, or denying is also another way of saying, like, I don't know him, I don't follow Jesus. So basically lying about his relationship with Jesus.
Yeah. So he denied him 3 times before the rooster crowed twice. It's heartbreaking. So listen up, here we go. It says, "You may wonder what a rooster has to do with the Easter story. For Peter, one of the disciples of Jesus, one of his closest and best friends, the sound of a rooster crowing triggered great sadness and caused him to cry. Here's what happened. Peter was one of Jesus' closest friends, and he once promised Jesus that no matter how dangerous things might become, he would always be loyal. Jesus could depend on him. But that began to change when Peter realized that they were planning to kill Jesus and might want to kill him too. In fact, Peter was so afraid that he denied even knowing Jesus. Just this evening before, when Peter had promised to be loyal, Jesus told him that he would indeed deny knowing him, not just once or twice, but 3 times. And in fact, it happened just as Jesus said it would. The rooster was still crowing when Peter remembered what Jesus said. Before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. Mark 14:30. Peter was so ashamed that he ran away and cried. That is heartbreaking. It is so easy for us to get scared and to forget that we are always in God's hands. And that's what happened with Peter. He got scared. And so he pretended like he didn't know Jesus, but he knew that was wrong. And he immediately, as soon as he heard that rooster, he knew what he did was wrong, and he immediately felt terrible remorse. So guys, this is the first half of the Easter story. Thank you so much for joining us. Please check in again tomorrow as we finish out the rest of the story and the most wonderful news you'll ever hear. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you later.